Welcome back, Dota 2 fans. Game 2. Immortals taking on Blue Pikachu. Immortals with a Drow Medusa strat in Game 1. Able to take it in about 29.5 minutes. Look fairly solid as far as team fight and rotation go, but as did Blue Pikachu. I thought Ryubor's first few movements were more or less enough to match the effect of Forev's clockwork movements. Just felt like they really struggled out of the mid lane with Villain's puck. And he was never really able to kind of provide that initiation. I mean, he got some big waning rifts, but it just felt like it was too late in the game for them to capitalize off those big silences and coil follow-ups. So hopefully they can get him off to a better start in this second game. Immortals certainly looked comfortable in the last one as far as hero picks go. And as we make our way into this game 2, we'll see if they kind of change gears. They are going to go for the Dusky here. And I am the snowball from Cobalt, the terror from the barrier, the Dusk. Sorry, I get an urge every time I see this cute walrus man who's ready for a fight. Alright, I'll stop. Jakiro bans and the Ogre bans, we've seen these kind of lane dominators be banned out quite frequently. And, you know, one thing I hear constantly from pros and former pros alike is this meta is a lot about the lanes. And that's why we see kind of these big, beefy laners and the supports who can offer a lot in lane. The Wyverns, the Earth Spirits, Undying, Spirit Breaker, Jakiro, Ogre. They are always held in high regard in this pro scene. Bane is another one. He absolutely is. Also, just, you know, as far as pick order goes and, you know, having last pick, in the first phase, revealing a core has not at all seemed attractive to these teams. Most of them are trying to pick their 4 and 5 in the first phase, and that's why a lot of these supports they garner the first phase bans. And there we see it from both sides: 4 and 5, Earth Spirit, Bane, Tusk, Rubik, Immortals, and Pikachu, Blue Pikachu respectively. Second phase of bans will commence here. We'll see, you know, if Blue Pikachu's kind of okay with dealing with this Medusa in game 2, or if they just remove that from the pool altogether. Fairly wide range of heroes as far as MP and QO go, and the fact that they can kind of swap roles from mid and safe lane helps in that regard. Hard to kind of foresee target bans for those two. Puck is still in the pool and just generally considered very strong. See if either team agrees with me on that front. We've seen Tidehunter as kind of an answer to this Earth Spirit and all that he tries to get done in the early game. Pretty much unkillable, it feels, in the off lane to an Earth Spirit roll in. Kind of anchor smash him. He's no longer doing much damage to you. We will see the Medusa ban, but in fact it is going to come from Immortal's side this game. And the Bounty Hunter ban from Blue Pikachu has often been the case against Immortals, but is interesting considering Earth Spirit and Bane are showing up already. That would mean one of these 3 heroes would have to be the 3 role, and kind of hard pressed to see which one that is. I mean, I suppose you could go for like Bane with Aghanims in the mid lane, but that seems odd. I mean, definitely feels like Bane can lane with Enfeeble and Brain Sap, you know, 1v1 kind of against anyone, but thereafter, you know, a hero with an extremely unreliable ultimate being one of your cores is doesn't seem like the, you know, most easy route to a win in this game too. So Bounty Hunter ban is a bit peculiar to me from Alrin, but they take out the Storm Spirit once again. They banned this in the first game. Not a hero they like facing, it seems. This NA Dota scene is very interesting, where a lot of the teams have major overlap as far as who they consider strong. And it's just interesting to see Immortals ban Jakiro, Medusa, and Bloodseeker. These are all heroes that they tend to run. So just, you know, mutual recognition among the teams of kind of the strong heroes. Tusk is one that is a bit in between, however. There are teams that don't really consider Tusk very strong, and that certainly shows in their drafting. But, I mean, Blue Pikachu, enough to give it first phase here. I talked about the Tidehunter against the Earth Spirit. You can kind of think of it similarly against the Tusk. You know, Tusk does want to get things done in the early game. He doesn't really come back as far as farming into the game like a Shadow Demon might, or perhaps a Rubik with a Stolen Nuke. So he really does want to get things done as far as kills early on. And Tidehunter is going to make that difficult for Immortals. So no surprise for them picking up the Tide here, although I would have seen it to be a little bit better for Blue Pikachu. Despite that, Immortals had the first pick in this second phase. And post the Mirana, they'll pick up a Queen of Pain. So, I mean, you've got an Orchid build for the Mirana, I suppose. You've got a good solo laner mid, which can allow the Bane to kind of do his thing, or the Earth Spirit for that matter. And what I like so much about this opening from Immortals is that both their cores are excellent laners in their own right, which means there's, at this point, you know, pending this safe lane pick, total freedom for Earth Spirit and Bane. I mean, that's not to say that Queen of Pain and Tidehunter cannot die, but it is to say that they will garner a lot of attention, and it will take a lot of commitment for them to die. And for that reason, if Immortals can anticipate those attempts, they can be anywhere with their supports, and they can look to tip the scales in the appropriate lanes at the appropriate times. So I really like what Immortals has put together in both these games thus far. I mean, Blue Pikachu, in no way am I saying they're out-drafted at this point, but the lanes look solid as they've been assembled to this point for Immortals. Tusk Rubik's certainly going to play the support role. Mirana, she can go anywhere, any of the three lanes, really, as a core. Safe lane, perhaps the least likely of those three. And they will pick up a Doom here for Blue Pikachu. This is one way to deal with the Tidehunter. Kraken Shell doesn't help you much versus the Doom. Pretty good to have against Bane. A couple ways to cancel Fiend's Grip, and similar to the Tidehunter, is a difficult kill for the Earth Spirit in the early going. Maybe I shouldn't say in the early going. Once he gets a couple levels up. Very early on, certainly still a killable hero. So we heard the tiny growl there. Kind of sounded like Tidehunter, didn't it? He's going to get banned out by Immortals. He is a hero that can 1v1 lane versus the Tide with the new tree grab. Gives him extra melee range, so he can kind of stay out of the range of that Anchor Smash, and gives him a way to damage the Tidehunter without caring all that much about Kraken Shell. Via the cleave, of course. So really cool thought process from Immortals there. And in general, I know Ryu specifically thinks Tiny is very strong. And so the team must kind of share that sentiment. Teammates, they tend to talk to one another. Terrorblade, he's going to be banned out by Blue Pikachu. And Immortals will have the virtue of last pick here, already feeling fairly comfortable with their lineup. So likely to see a safe laner, I want to say, for Blue Pikachu here. Although we could see a mid as well. Maybe they elect to put the Doom 1v1 against the Tide. Infernal Blade should be really nice to have up against the Tidehunter. So. Well, they'll pick an Anti-Mage here. So, hero that's not bad against Tide. Not great either. I really worry for Immortals being aggressively laned against. Not necessarily a tri-lane, but even just throwing the Bane down with a Tidehunter for a little bit. If Tide can sit on the wave and just anchor smash, Anti-Mage can't last hit. And this is one of the most... Alright, Immortal's going to take a page out of Blue Pikachu's book, finishing this off with a Luna. Good, well-rounded carry, can fight early, can scale. So I don't know if there's much more to say than that. However, we know how important last hits are with the change to denies. Especially in the safe lane where you have your defensive supports nearby, so you get even less as far as experience goes. I do worry for this Scrooge McDuck Anti-Mage, but we'll see what kind of attention they pay him early on. It is going to be the villain mid lane Mirana, and Ryu going to take to the Doom here more than likely. I guess he could take the Tusk as well, but yeah, he picks up the Doom. One of the cooler looking Tusks I've seen from Save. But yeah, I definitely worry for this Anti-Mage in the early going. We'll see what kind of attention Immortals want to give to the off lane. It is going to be a Ryu Doom plus potentially a Tusk up against the Luna, and she is maybe not equally susceptible to harass from the Anti-Mage, but rather vulnerable, fairly considerably vulnerable. And the only difference being she is a ranged hero. Whether only slightly or by a wide margin, she is a ranged hero, so we'll see how these lanes end up shaking down. I wouldn't say there's a major advantage for either side, but definitely, in my very narrow-minded personal opinion, I would favor Immortal's draft here. And the big factor that makes me like it is honestly the Tidehunter and how much flexibility that gives them as far as their lanes go. GLHF, see you in pubs later, fuckers. Alright. Hey. Sportsmanship at its finest. Now, Ryu said see you in pubs later. Is that to indicate that this is the last game of the series? He wouldn't say see you in pubs later if they were going to face each other again in game 3, would he? So I believe that's match fixing. Investigate him. No, I'm kidding. Game 2, Immortals, as you see at the top of your screen, in a 1-0 lead. And you can't see that at the top of your screen because I'm an idiot. Thank God I said that. Now you can see it. Immortals up 1-0. UO grabs himself a Bounty Rune. It'll just be kind of the standard loadout as far as Bounty Rune selection. Febby, oh, he's going to miss his misses his block mid lane. Will roll forward and get back to a blocking. And it looked like it was well worth the rolling boulder cost. Only 50 mana there. So he actually pretty much makes this even. It is up on the staircase of villain, but not entirely up the hill. Queen of Pain as well, just pretty good as far as her right click animation goes. Already though, villain having a good time in the mid lane. Alren bottom on the Rubik, and Save looking to wrap here, as actually they're aggressively laning the Anti-Mage into the Luna. So I talked about the struggles Anti-Mage could potentially have up against the Tide in lane, and it looks like, they may even agree here, as Febby looking to block up Save, gets the Orb of Venom slow on him, and yeah, first blood for QO, so already, ooh, not too sure about this Aggressive tri-lane, and up to the top lane, a couple of members of Blue Pikachu will go. Now Dubu, already level 2, has the Anchor Smash, so this lane is not going to be easy. Doesn't actually connect with it here, and Ryu certainly good at trading with the Tidehunter, but he's likely going to make his way down to bottom lane as, well, they'll try and get a kill off beforehand, and actually might be successful here. But Forev just going to try and backstroke it away. Has an Anchor Smash, but can't end up getting the kill. It is 4 heroes, though, in this top lane. As QO, he's essentially going to free farm bottom. And Febby going to execute some pulls along with Dubu. So, yeah, they lose Forev. But overall, the early game feels like Immortal should be just fine with it. MP, though, he is being bested in this mid lane to the Mirana. As he starts to try and drag that back in his favor. 9-1 to the 7-2, so it's relatively even. But, you know, technically is being bested. We'll try and use the arrow, and does end up getting the range creep. I thought that was denied for a second, and then I realized 2 numbers and a plus sign are not an exclamation mark. Roll forward is going to find the Rubik, and nicely baited by Forev, looking like he's going for the last hit. Telekinesis stun will connect, though, onto Febby, and the Boulder Smash from Febby does not hit on Alren, so he will be able to make it away, unfortunately, just off the mark with that Boulder Smash. Hanging around, though, with his double damage rune, could be in trouble, maybe wanting to go for the roll here, and he will roll forward onto save. Still, though, he's pincered into the shards, and gets the Fairy Fire off. Tries to get into the trees, will juke back, but Alren will take him out. And Forev will be forced to back as save TP's back in. So it's a 1-for-1 support trade overall in that top lane. Still, though, if they can body the anti-mage off the wave, mission accomplished. Right now, though, he's keeping up with CS, you know, admirably. And as I say that, I miss a kill on Ryu bottom lane. See what happened. Just a Nightmare into a Brain Sap, 2 Lucent Beams, and that's a dead Doom. What do you know? There's the recipe right there. Forev, one of the more annoying matchups for the Tide in lane is to have his mana burnt constantly. One of the more annoying things for Mirana to happen in the mid lane is for her to die, and Dubu trying to make that happen. He's going to tangle through a tree. And Villain actually just tangles one to remove it. Dubu hanging around. Will find the Mirana. Brain Sap is going to be there. Does he drop the Nightmare? Now he will. Needs follow through, though, and won't get it. Arrow going to fly. Will not connect. Telekinesis is going to be there onto Dubu. And a ward going to go down and get them some extra right clicks. Regen Rune is nearby. Shockwave not going to connect. And Dubu actually going to be just fine as he makes it up to the high ground. Has a Tango and a Clarity. Well, he'll just deny himself here. Buy a ward. And take a 25-minute break. Hands off keyboard. And CS now being dominated. You see, you know, as I mentioned before, if they can body the anti-mage off the lane, it's mission accomplished. They've got a Luna farming on the other side. She'll be ready to fight and push. MP is farming well out of this mid lane where, you know, it's just difficult to be a Mirana here as after a couple levels come out. Queen of Pain feels a little better at, you know, controlling the wave and harassing the opponent. Roll forward is going to find Villain. He'll leap back, use 1 charge. Gets connected on with the Boulder Smash, but still not feeling threatened, having a couple of charges of that OS Frog leap. Ryu going to run into Dubu. Dubu will pass by a Dire Ward as well. But Hero's pretty good at trading. And going to make his way over to the mid lane. May even just cop an arrow. Villain well aware of his rotation in. And roll forward will not connect. Now they're going to look to re-engage here. Telekinesis into the arrow. Nice Nightmare by Dubu. Febby still alive. 2-man Boulder Smash. And the grip is there through. Sonic Wave comes over the top. But MP can't pursue forward for the Mirana. Else he would have died for sure. Shadow Strike going to come out onto Ryu, but he's pursuing down Dubu, and with the Infernal Blade and the Scorched Earth Burn, he'll get the kill. Now Febby rotating back through. Oh, he misses with the stone. Rolls forward, though, will connect, and now a scream of pain is going to be there. Triple kill for MP, as they'll let the Mirana go, but they'll lose everyone else. Tusk, Rubik, Doom in the mid lane. MP flying by a ward. Oh, the arrow just missed from Villain, who jumps forward and does get the double damage rune. MP will be forced out as a couple of stars connect onto the Akasha Queen of Pain. Shards will fly out. No blink for a few seconds. There is a stick charge here. Nightmare is going to be there from the Bane. He gets a brain sap off. Is MP available? No. Blink was available, but didn't get it off. Roll forward is going to connect onto save. Villain gets boulder smashed by Febby, and the silence is there as well. She can't leap away. Nicely played by Febby. They even rotated in QO for that. Not necessarily needed, though. As he'll make his way back to the bottom lane. 44 and 23. QO has been playing an MMORPG this game. Completely AFK. He might just die here, though. Is a very fast hero, however. And pops up the Eclipse. And with his teammates rotating in, why not? Using the cooldowns early really doesn't hurt you all that much. And if it gains you a kill, absolutely worth it for QO. Big rotation coming in now, though, from the BP side. They don't have a Moonlight Shadow. They don't even have a level 6 Mirana here. The Luna is level 7. And Febby now rotating down underneath the cover of a Dire Ward. As they look to make a go, but a Nightmare immediately there. Now the roll forward. They have a Boulder Smash. It'll connect through 2. Lucent Beam on the south side. Snowball will be there from the Tusk. Alren trying to make it away. Gets into the fog, and the Geomagnetic Grip will barely whiff on him. Sigil is there to kind of keep them from pursuing forward, but big rotation from BP thwarted. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Forev just bodying up on the Anti-Mage, who has 29 CS 8 minutes into the game. So you're talking an average of about 3.5 CS on this Anti-Mage per minute, which is certainly not ideal. And he's farming enemy jungle. 8 minutes into the game. Forev just can continue to shove this wave in. It's already started to whittle away at this tower. It's down to 50% of its HP. Could you imagine how triggered you guys would have been in chat if I had left that overlay on all the game? Meanwhile, Forev, he could be in trouble here top lane. Ryu, though, only level 5. I mean, there are 3 level 8 heroes on the Radiant side. Alright, I got really carried away with the levels. Sonic Wave was used mid. Mirana goes down. But 5k net worth lead. A big experience lead, evidently, as well. Now they're starting to put pressure into towers. Forev, you know, without a Doom, they're not killing him here top. He's level 9 on the Tidehunter. As Kraken Shell going to purge the Inferno Blade, and he's actually being pursued down by Ryu here, but with Scorcher expiring, he's just going to backstroke his way down to the Shrine. In the meantime, QO taking out the Tier 1 bottom, and Immortals are just outclassing Blue Pikachu in this one. And I just talked about the lanes being, you know, a major contributing factor to wins in this recent meta, and the lanes have gone perfectly for Immortals. I mean, look at your mid laner here for Mirana. 1900 net worth, 3rd bottom on the chart. You know, 1v1 in a vacuum. Queen of Pain versus Mirana, just not an easy matchup for the Mirana. Queen of Pain does everything Mirana does and better. As far as the lane goes. Even Dubu getting some space bottom to try and find his level 6 here. Just gonna Nightmare up the Anti-Mage, be annoying. Force him to miss a last hit there. And Dubu may end up dying for this type of play, but I think Immortals can more than afford this. Dubu is gonna get hit with the Snowball. Walrus Punch will be there as well. He'll be sharded in, and Mana Void should finish him off here shortly. If they even choose to use it, they will. Meanwhile, top lane, though, they found Alren. He's going to drop almost simultaneously to Dubu. And perhaps more importantly, this tier 1 going to be threatened now. Ryu hanging around trying to, you know, pick up that level 6 milestone here where maybe they can look to defend if he cuts through the trees with a Doom. Forev going to be earned up though. As Alren nearby does finally get that Doom off onto the Tide Hunter. Forev though so tanky, just going to make his way back to the east. Now a roll forward Boulder Smash will hit onto the Rubik. They'll take out the Mirana with the Sonic Wave over the top. Nightmare's going to keep the Doom in place, and Forev, he's at least made it away for now, and he's alive with 30 HP. Has a Ravage if he needs it. Fiend's Grip will find the Doom. Snowball over to the east. It's onto MP though. Now Forev going to rotate through with the Anchor Smash, and still has the Ravage rotating around. Two-man Boulder Smash is going to be there. Forev's going to pop it off. It connects onto 2. Scream of Pain is there. They get the tower in the meantime, and it's a disaster for Blue Pikachu in the top lane. QO AFK the whole time, working on the mid lane tower. Somehow has the most net worth in the game. What you know? Go figure. Free Farm Luna has the most net worth in the game. 118 CS, 12 minutes in. Talking about the Anti-Mage's average 660. He's got about half of that, so he's averaging 5 CS a minute. The Luna averaging 10. Meanwhile, top lane, Ryu taken down for the second time in about 1.5 minutes. As Forev, with the Urn from Febby, just feeling unkillable. Eclipse is going to be tanked up mostly by the creeps. Alren will catch one beam there, and he'll die before the fade from Moonlight Shadow. Immortals with a 10k gold lead at 12 minutes in. So, gonna look to try and approach that 1k lead per minute mark, which is always very elusive in any sort of competitive setting. And this has just been a clinic from the get-go from Immortals. Really like that Tide Hunter pick in the second phase. Just didn't feel like Blue Pikachu really had an answer to it. You know, their strategy was to pick the Doom into it, but the lane for the Tide just went much better than did the lane for the Doom. You know, immediately we see the tri-lane, aggressive tri-lane into the Luna be dissipated as they lose the first kill, and the Anti-Mage immediately TPs up to the top lane. But you can tell they were even like mentally tentative to do that by the fact that they abandoned it almost instantly after, you know, things went awry. So Dubu's got the grip available.
Immortality. Regeneration. The prize is mine.
MP bot lane's gonna have a look at the Anti-Mage. The entire lineup, though, pretty much of the dire side is nearby. Only Save over towards the mid lane on his Tusk. And MP, you know, playing very cautiously and intelligently, well aware that, you know, none of these heroes are really on the map. The Anti-Mage didn't seem all that scared when he went on her, and that none of his unit is nearby. So he'll make his TP out towards the mid lane. Gush and Medallion from Forev onto Save. Try to get the Anchor Smash off. Save will kind of do a little jaunt away. Dubu nearby, but his range isn't that great either. Gush gonna fly out. Forev gonna Medallion up Save, and now he will be weary of the fact that there are some Immortals heroes nearby. It is nighttime though. He may have not actually caught a glimpse of them from the trees, but they will now show effectively as they pour right clicks into the tower here. Moonlight Shadow going to be popped by the dire side. Ryu looking to Doom up. Well, maybe even the Luna here. Sentry going to be dropped just a fraction of a second too late. QO gets the Manta off and tries to back out. Ryu taking a lot of damage. Sonic Wave is there through 3. They get pulled into the Snowball, but the Eclipse will shred through them as they're released. And Boulder Smash even going to follow forward, looking for the Rubik. With the Scream of Pain, MP will be aware of where Alren is, and just one casual right click finishing him off. As Immortal 17k exceeding the 1k lead per minute, and GG is going to be called here as they preserve that with the celebratory Ravage coming out from Forev. Immortals looking very sharp in this series. They'll take a quick 2-0 victory over Blue Pikachu, and With this win, guys, Immortals secure themselves a ticket to a revenge match against Leviathan, who took them out 2-1 yesterday in their best of 3 and dropped them down to this lower bracket. QO absolutely AFK in this game. 4-0-4 on the Luna. 700 GPM in a 16-minute game. That is insane. The rest of his team, pulling their weight as far as kill involvement goes. Fevy, 15 kill involvement for the Earth Spirit in this one. And just a really good showing. Where's my back to team view button? Valve? There we go. 20-6, 16 minutes in, over 17k net worth lead for Immortals. So they will go on to face, again, like I said, Leviathan. That is going to be happening tomorrow at 21 Eastern Standard Time. So check out BSJ, Whitebeard, and the boys up against Immortals. And just now in Group B, we are going to have Wheel versus CES. They're vying for a spot in their finals in Group B against VTJ Storm. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. Hope you're enjoying the cast so far. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday so far. Immortals with a 2-0 pretty quick victory over Blue Pikachu here. The scheduled next matchup is actually, for an hour and a half from now. So, not sure how that'll work out. 1 hour and 39 minutes. We just got confirmation there for Wheel versus CES. So I'll leave the stream up for a bit. If we by chance get the players to agree to play earlier, I will be certain to tweet and bring it back up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until then, it's going to be Immortals with a quick 2-0 over Blue Pikachu. Stay tuned, though, guys. Follow Beyond the Summit on Twitter. We will be back in an hour and a half at the very latest for Wheel versus CES, vying to get that spot against VTJ Storm in the Group B finals.